Hi, I'm Alistair Garbutt. Today, I seek to outline the human resource management practices at the self-proclaimed world leader in beauty, L'Oreal, whilst expressing some critique of these practices. I seek to focus on three main areas: recruitment and selection, well-being, and diversity management, and seek to make clear why L'Oreal proclaim that the group's mission is to provide the best cosmetics innovation to women and men around the world with respect for their diversity. Human resource management, loosely speaking, describes the management of employment and, by extension, people. If we look to Figure 2, it is clear that Foot and Hook outline the major characteristics which underscore it, playing particular importance on the notion of adopting a strategic approach. This arguably derived from Tayloristic scientific management in 1909. The decline of trade unions in the early 1980s, however, following the Winter of Discontent in 1979, saw Margaret Thatcher elected, and those actions resulted in a byproduct of a more human resource approach, shifting away from the personnel approach which dominated the years before. The context of work would be changed forever. The definition this presentation will operate upon is Lewin's, who describes HRM as, quote, the attraction, retention, utilization, motivation, and rewarding and disciplining of employees in organizations, end quote. I've chosen this particular definition because I believe it is the definition which best encapsulates the three elements at the crux of my presentation. Recruitment and selection. Recruitment. Recruitment focuses on the attraction part of Lewin's definition and was defined by Barber in 1998 as, quote, the practices and activities carried out by the organization with the primary purpose of identifying and attracting potential employees, end quote, and essentially involves matching business with individual, as Wayne has termed it in 1980. Its importance has been manifest by many, particularly Taylor and Collins, who term it, quote, the most critical HR function for organizational survival and success, end quote. Despite L'Oreal's polycentric approach to recruitment, their people-based recruitment approach is universal and aptly reflects their mission. It begins with an online application at L'Oreal's career website, see Figure 3. L'Oreal's use of online recruitment is common in today's epoch, with large application pools and decreased hiring time for employer and employees. For example, if we look to Figure 4, as CIPD confirmed in 2013, 78% of companies in the public sector report using their own corporate website as, quote, the most effective method to attract applicants. And this begins with job analysis, as defined by Gatewood, Field and Barrick, quote, a purposeful systematic process for collecting information on the important work-related aspects of the job, end quote. Communicating the aspects of their job role reduces the talent pool down to a number of individuals who feel the job analysis fits their interests and or their skill sets, saving time and subsequently money for L'Oreal. This has been emphasized by Nilesh Boit at the Unleash World Conference, suggesting that the 20-minute recruiters spend on applications can be reduced to 4 minutes. Being able to spend extra time on other activities is vital, such as employer branding. Employer branding is loosely equivalent to brand equity, seeking to understand what elevates one brand over another, making it more attractive. Christopher Collins and Adam Cannar discuss the rising importance of applicant perceptions in effective recruitment practices, suggesting that their employer branding is central to recruitment success, as reported by Harrell and Scalarios in 2013. L'Oreal take their employer branding and HR strategy very seriously. Marie-Dominique Jacquet, the employer branding director of L'Oreal, revealed L'Oreal's employer value proposition. Letting their employees share their experiences is central to L'Oreal's employer branding strategy. This, in my mind, is in response to the demographic and social changes of today. If we look at Figure 5, it is clear that prospective employees now value culture and environment very seriously. L'Oreal's strategy of employer branding is apt, with 38% of job candidates seeing it as the most attractive signifier in a survey reported by YouGov. L'Oreal's fusion of an efficient yet people-focused recruitment process alongside their extensive employer branding is part of the reason that L'Oreal, according to Universum, are the 12th most attractive employer. Selection. Selection completes the recruitment process for firms and essentially terms the procedures to differentiate between candidates in order to select the best approach and the best applicant for the job. I seek to answer the question posed by Pluhat in 2006, quote, how do we identify people with knowledge, skill, ability, and the personality to perform well at a set of tasks we call a job, end quote. An analysis of the effectiveness of selection methods can be carried out through using the 4 standards outlining contemporary human resource management. It is through these criteria that I seek to outline the effectiveness of interviews at L'Oreal. Please refer to Figure 6. Psychometric testing has become increasingly validified in recent years and are increasingly used by firms as indicators of how effective an applicant will be in a chosen job before employing them. Numerous studies have been carried out to validify the use of these psychometric tests. Findings such as those in Figure 7 show that the predictive validity and the utility of a cognitive testing is high compared with other selection methods, and is therefore an effective method for L'Oréal to use. As seen in Figure 6, the third and fourth part of L'Oréal's selection process combine to form the interview section. This is perhaps the most important area of the process, and as Huffcutt and Culbertson note, quote, "It is rare, even unthinkable for somebody to be hired without some type of interview," end quote. L'Oréal's use of interviews is to see if their role matches the candidate, and to understand the capabilities relating to that specific role, as well as the values of the individual they are hiring. Interviews, however, according to Lever-Shiner, are seen to have relatively low reliability compared with other selection methods. Whilst interviews as a whole are generally accepted to have moderate utility, it is important to note that when used alongside other indicators, the validity of the interview, as well as other indicators, is greatly enhanced, satisfying the 4-standard evaluation. L'Oréal's assessment centres are slightly unorthodox in this respect, in that they combine their interviews with their assessment centres to further validify the employer's understanding of the candidates. As Marchington and Wilkinson note, quote, "There is no single technique, regardless of how well it is designed and administered, that is capable of producing perfect decisions that predict with certainty which individuals will perform in a particular role." This is why L'Oréal use a fusion of methods in their selection process. It is clear, therefore, that L'Oréal uses a traditional approach surrounding selection, though it is inspired by the modern peculiarities which make L'Oréal. Their recruitment and selection is evidently strong given its global identity. It was reported that, as of the year ended 2014, the staff turnover stood at just 13.8%, a little bit less than the UK average of 15%. Well-being. The next part of this presentation concerns well-being, which has been defined in a UK government foresight report on mental capital and well-being, terming, quote, "a dynamic state in which the individual is able to develop their potential work productively and creatively, build strong and positive relationships with others, and contribute to their community," end quote. Please refer to Figure 8 on the visual aid to see CIPD's well-being model. It is in light of these factors that I seek to critique the well-being practices at L'Oréal. Well-being management is particularly important in the modern epoch when considering that, as Public Health England reports, mental health conditions are the leading cause of sickness absence in the UK. See Figure 9 for more statistics emphasising the ongoing and increasing importance for well-being management at work. Karen Danner and Ricky Griffin note in Health and Wellbeing in the Workplace that the overlap between non-work and work has become a popular research area, with the recognition that a person's work and personal lives are not separate entities. As a result, L'Oréal take their well-being, namely their work-life balance management, very seriously. Please see Figure 10, L'Oréal's Share and Care social programme, which was launched by L'Oréal in 2013, and since 2015 has been rolled out to many of its subsidiaries, offering employees in 68 countries social protection. Today, over 100 initiatives have been set up, making L'Oréal, quote, "one of the leading employers in terms of social policy," unquote. As per L'Oréal's website, as Jerome Tixier, Executive Vice President of Human Resources, states, quote, "It is a programme that embodies our human values and creates a working environment where our people feel taken care of." Some examples can be found in Figure 11, and this programme is polycentric, meaning it offers tailored initiatives depending on their demographic. The Share and Care programme directly addresses 4 rationales for work-life balance. Pocock identified the following factors, and these are somewhat similar to the factors we see in Figure 10. This is respondent to the trend that we see amongst Generation Y, a generation who values a nurturing work environment. More on this can be found in Figure 12. L'Oréal has extended this, releasing their human rights policy, sharing its goals and commitments with consumers, stakeholders and civil society. In a time of high distrust in society, with the political general election around the corner, L'Oréal ensure transparency in the way they are implemented. L'Oréal's efforts of well-being management then, in my mind, are an example to be followed by many companies. Facts such as the following: 96% of the group's permanent employees have health insurance in line with best practices in their country of residence. These facts support my conclusive statement of example setting. The effects of stress and anxiety in the workplace must continue to be managed and supported, particularly given the Yerkes-Dodson law, which can be seen in Figure 13. Diversity. The principle which underscores diversity management has been defined by Candola and Fullerton, who suggest that, quote, "The basic concept of managing diversity accepts that the workforce consists of a diverse population of people. It is founded on the premise that harnessing these differences will create a productive environment in which everyone feels valued, where their talents are being fully utilised, and in which the organisational goals are met." Diversity management is something L'Oréal take as seriously as any other human resource management strategy, combining their 4 values as seen in Figure 14. Universalization has become central at L'Oréal, seeking to recognise the ongoing significance of respecting difference and diversity. Sharing beauty with all is just one of their extensive number of pledges to put diversity at the heart of everything they do. The success of these strategies has been recognised in an interview conducted by Stéphane Soumier. Jean-Paul Egon, the chairman and chief executive officer of L'Oréal, revealed that they were ranked as the top gender-balanced company in Europe by Equileap. L'Oréal were also considered in the top 10 of Thomson Reuters Diversity and the Inclusion Index. The comprehensive diversity management strategies that L'Oréal employ is twofold. In the first instance, it is fantastic for employer branding as aforementioned, though in the second instance, on a more finance-based plane, as Catherine Cassell notes, the loss or lack of recognition of these skills and potential, usually as a result of everyday discriminatory practices, gives the company competitive edge. L'Oréal have displayed these diversity concerns to the world, and these can be seen in Figure 15, Figure 16, and Figure 17. Overall then, it appears for me to be the case that, when concerning human resource management, L'Oréal are at the top. The 3 sections I've covered, recruitment and selection, well-being, and diversity management, are just 3 areas of HRM strategies that L'Oréal have a significant consideration for, and in my mind, the HRM strategies employed are central in the mechanics behind L'Oréal's success in becoming, quote, the world leader in beauty, end quote. Their sophisticated fusion of HRM techniques harnesses their fantastic financial performance and pushes it to the top. In my mind, L'Oréal have set an example of how to flawlessly master human resource management. Thank you.